we sat here last year, you and Drew most specifically were pretty clear about wanting the management to be aggressive. They went and got Deneau, they went and got Arvidsson, they went and got Edler. Do you think you need big swings again this offseason, or more incremental changes?
I don't think we need big swings. I think we obviously still have to improve on some areas, and yeah, I mean, just upgrade really. I think this year was a pretty significant step for this team. Obviously making the playoffs, and some of the young guys stepping up and having career years, which it's great to see. And going forward, like I said, got to take the next step.
What do you see as that next step? If you look at the areas that you guys did grow this year, where going into next season, where do you, what parts of the game?
Well, it's maybe just being a little bit more comfortable and confident of making plays, and even if you do make a mistake, I mean that's going to happen really. So just playing a bit more confident in with a little bit more swagger and all of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, just grow really as a team. Like I said, a lot of the young guys got put in pretty significant roles this year, and took the next step, and I think they got a pretty good taste of what it takes and how it needs to be done throughout the season. And then obviously having to play 7 games in the playoffs was pretty good, and for the experience, and I guess just getting to know playoff atmosphere and environment, and the series itself, how everything goes down. I think it was obviously a big positive for our team.
Everybody saw the importance of adding Deneau and what he brought to the team, but what about some of the younger kids? Was there anybody that either over the course of the season or in the playoffs specifically that kind of opened your eyes and said, wow, we really have something here?
I mean, Juice scored 35 goals. Was it 34, 35? I mean, that's pretty significant. I think a lot of our young D-men really proved that they can hang with the big boys. Obviously, I mean, if I got to pinpoint one, maybe theirs would be the obvious one, because he got put in a position where usually Drew's in, and that's not an easy task. So I think he stepped up and did a really good job, being on the power play and penalty kill and playing top minutes. So it was great to see.
Was it less taxing not having to take every big defensive assignment, every big defensive zone face up with Phil? For you, was it not easier but more comfortable playing this season with him there?
I mean, I like to play a lot anyways, so I think sometimes, or majority of the time, the more I play, I think that obviously you're more in the game and you kind of get into a better groove. But yeah, I mean, Phil's had a fantastic year. Obviously scored his career high too in goals, so that was great for him, and it was a great addition to this team for sure.
Heading into this offseason, maybe you're feeling different than heading into the offseason a few years ago?
I don't think it's going to be any different. Me personally,
as a team.
Oh, as a team. I mean, like I said, we made the playoffs, and that was a good step, but now we got to upgrade. So we got to look into that, and we got to take the next step. Essentially, it's what it is. I mean, it's actually very simple. I mean, nobody's going to be satisfied with playing 7 games in the playoffs and getting bounced in the first round. So you got to see what we can do to, obviously, to get better, and win more playoff games.
With the world opening up, what are your plans for this offseason?
Well, we're going to stay here. Obviously, kids are in school, so we got to wait for that to end. And then we'll go back for a little bit. I got my hockey camp for 2 weeks. It'd be late June, early July, and then just spend some time back home and come back in August for school again.
How are you coming out of the season physically? Any parts need fixing?
No.
Toby, you talked about liking to play a lot. How'd you feel the gas tank was, maybe game 6, game 7? Where was your energy level?
It was good. I mean, it's that time where you don't really think whether you're tired or not. Yeah, of course. A couple of days after, you look back and it was, I mean, I wouldn't say I was low on energy, but, it certainly wasn't the all-time high. So, but right then in the moment, you don't think about that. You're just getting ready for the games.
You've seen enough of Connor McDavid for a while.
Plenty.
Kobe, you mentioned Kempe scoring 35 goals, playing on him, basically with him for most of the season. It's got to be pretty rewarding to see the way you impacted his game overall. And what do you look forward to moving forward with him, assuming your line mates next year again?
I mean, if he scores 35 again next year, I think that's going to be pretty good again. So, no, I think he's obviously matured a lot. I think he's a lot more comfortable, being as one of the guys too. And he took big steps in, I mean, every single position that he played in, really, or whether that's power play, whether that's PK, he is and will be a big part of this team always.
Can you pinpoint why special teams were such a weakness for this team this season?
Can I pinpoint?
Yeah, do you think it was the injuries, or were there schematic things, or what do you think went wrong there?
I mean, it's probably a combination of different stuff. Not having Drew on the power play and PK was obviously huge. And I mean, it's just the power play itself, it didn't click, and then once it doesn't really click, the confidence is not there, and it shows whether you like it or not. So, but even in the past, I mean, we weren't always clicking at about 25% anyway, but we got timely goals, which we were probably lacking this year.
What do you like best about Todd as a coach?
He's a good teacher, and thinker of the game. So it's there's a lot of stuff and a lot of info he throws at you, but then at the end of the day, he lets you play, which is, what you want to do.
Finding you in left wing, is that going to be somebody internal that's going to step up? Or you're already laughing. Or is that going to have to come from outside?
I mean, I don't know. I think probably today it's a little bit too early to start thinking of that, for at least for me. But we gotta find something. I mean, we have good forwards that need to be put together, and just find it, really. I mean, Alex was there for quite a bit, and last year was working really well. This year it wasn't working that great. So it's just a matter of finding it again, and go from there.
You tried Kaliev up there for a while, but it didn't really stick. Is that something that you think could work if given more time, or is that just not a good mix of three players?
I think that's a growth element on Artie's part too. I mean, this is the first full season he in, with the busy schedule and the back-to-backs and everything. So I think he's probably learned some stuff, what he needs to do, in the off season and throughout the season to, get ready, and hopefully he does take the step. Yeah, absolutely.
Cole, is it harder to go from non-playoff team to playoff team, or playoff team to contender? I think you've been through this one before, which is a bigger step, but you made this step now, but that's the next step you got to take.
It's probably a playoff team to a contender, in my opinion. There's a lot of that is mindset. I mean, you can play the 82 games and get in, but then after that, I mean, obviously, we've been there before, but it takes a lot, and it takes a strong group and a good mindset to take the next step.
Who's starting to fill the void in the room from a leadership perspective? You know, you talk about mindset. A lot of leaders have left here over the last couple of years, and now 23's gone too. Who's stepping up?
Well, first and foremost, you can replace a guy like Brownie, and it's certainly not going to be just the one guy that's going to replace him. So it's collectively as a group coming together, really. I mean, it's, the young guys, and sometimes, it's not all about talking and being loud and all that. But there's a lot of guys this year that have made the step to do all the stuff they needed to do on the ice and leading by example.